Hey everyone, welcome back to this podcast. Or maybe this is your very first time here. Either way, I'm really happy you're here with us today. My name is Emma, and I welcome you all. This podcast is all about learning simple English and understanding real-life conversations in an easy, natural way.
Yes, honestly, it means a lot. Out of everything you could be doing right now, you chose to spend a few minutes with us. And yeah, we really appreciate that.
And today, we're going to keep things very simple, very real, and very calm.
Because this is not just a podcast. This is a space where you can relax, listen to real-life conversations, and slowly, naturally improve your English.
Yes, you're not here to memorize difficult grammar. You're here to feel the language, to understand how people actually speak in real life.
So as you listen, you'll learn new words, simple sentences, and real expressions that you can actually use in your daily life.
And at the same time, we'll talk about real thoughts, real emotions, and real experiences that we all go through.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you paused? Not to stress, not to overthink, but just to notice what's already good in your life.
Not the big achievements, not something perfect, just the small, quiet, beautiful moments.
Because today, we're not talking about having a perfect life.
We're talking about something simple, but very powerful.
Gratitude.
Today's episode is called Things I'm Grateful For Today.
And don't worry, this is going to be easy to follow. And yeah,
We'll speak slowly
clearly,
and naturally.
so you can understand and learn without feeling overwhelmed, right?
And we want you to be part of this too.
Not just listening, but thinking, feeling, and even speaking with us, you know?
So, wherever you are right now,
Take a slow, deep breath, and yeah,
and gently ask yourself,
what is one thing I'm grateful for today?
It doesn't have to be something big, and
Maybe something very small, like a peaceful moment, a kind word, or simply making it through the day, you know?
as we talk, we'll share our thoughts.
And help you learn English in a way that feels real, easy, and meaningful. So,
No pressure,
no perfection.
just real conversations and slow, beautiful progress. And we are genuinely happy to have you here today. Not just as an audience, but as someone we are sharing this journey with.
So, let's begin. So relax and just be fully present here with us. And let's begin with today's topic, which is things I'm grateful for today, where we'll be talking about real-life mindsets and simple practical solutions you can actually use to make your life way more easier and peaceful.
So, Jack, let's make this even more real today. And not just what we are grateful for, but also what we do on days when we don't feel grateful at all. You know?
Yes, because let's be real, not every day feels positive, right? Some days your mind is full of worries, and gratitude doesn't just come naturally. And
Okay. My first thing I'm grateful for today is very simple. I'm grateful that I woke up healthy. But I'll be honest, sometimes I don't feel grateful in the morning. Sometimes I wake up tired or overthinking. So what I do is I don't force big positivity. I just say one small sentence to myself. Today, I am okay. That is enough for now. And that small line slowly shifts my mood.
That's powerful. Because gratitude doesn't always start big, right? It starts small and honest and real. My first gratitude is I'm grateful for quiet moments in my day. Even if everything is busy, I try to find at least 5 minutes of silence. But when I feel stressed or distracted, I don't force myself to be calm. Instead, I pause and do one simple thing. I breathe slowly and look around me. And I remind myself, I am safe in this moment. That brings me back to gratitude.
That's such a grounding way to handle it, Jack. Very real. My second thing I'm grateful for is the people I can talk to, even if it's just a few. But on days when I feel lonely or disconnected, I don't shut myself down. Instead, I write one small message, or even just think, someone out there cares about me, even if I don't see it right now. That thought alone helps me feel less heavy.
Yes, because gratitude sometimes is about remembering connection, not just seeing it.
My second gratitude is my ability to learn and grow. Even if I make mistakes, I still have time to improve. But when I feel unmotivated, I don't push myself too hard. I just do one small thing, like learning one new word or listening to one positive thought. And I tell myself, small effort still counts.
That's very important, because consistency is more powerful than intensity. My third gratitude is simple moments, like tea, silence, or just sitting peacefully. And yeah, but on stressful days, I don't always feel that peace naturally. So I create it, even in a small way. I put my phone aside for a few minutes and just sit without doing anything. And slowly, my mind calms down.
That's a beautiful habit. Creating peace instead of waiting for it, right? My third gratitude is evenings, when the day slows down. But when I feel overwhelmed, I don't try to fix everything at once. I just ask myself, what is one thing I can let go of today? And sometimes that is enough to feel lighter.
Yes, Jack. Letting go is also a form of gratitude. Okay, Jack, let's share one more example before we wrap this part. And yeah,
Yes, Emma. Something very real from everyday life. One thing I'm grateful for today is having a goal, something I'm working toward. Even if the progress is slow, just knowing I'm moving forward gives me hope. And yeah, but honestly, there are days when I feel stuck or unmotivated. On those days, I don't try to force big motivation. I just do one small thing, like reminding myself, I don't need to be perfect today. I just need to continue. And that alone helps me feel grateful again, because I realize I'm still trying.
that's very real, Jack. Sometimes just continuing is enough. For me, I'm grateful for learning and improving myself, especially in small ways every day. But on days when I feel low or distracted, I don't expect myself to be productive all the time. Instead, I choose one gentle action, maybe listening to something positive or writing down one good thing about my day, you know? And I remind myself, I am still growing, even if I don't see it clearly yet. That thought brings me back to gratitude.
Yeah. Growth is not always visible, but it is always happening.
So, what we are really learning today is Gratitude is not about perfect days.
It's about small thoughts, small pauses, and small choices, even on difficult days.
Yes, Jack. And even when you don't feel grateful, you can still return to gratitude. Gently, right?
Yes, Emma. So now think with us. What is one small thing you can notice today, even if your day is not perfect?
Because sometimes the smallest thing is enough to change everything.
Okay, I hope our audience is actually liking this so far, because if you're still here, that means you're kind of locked in now. And yeah, before we continue, stay with us for just a moment.
Because what you're about to hear next is not just a normal conversation, right? It's the kind you actually live in real life.
Simple English, but not boring English. The kind people actually use when they're talking, not writing essays.
Yeah, no grammar pressure, no overthinking, no perfect sentence energy. Just real talking.
Yes, Jack. And while you listen, something kind of funny happens. You start understanding without even trying.
It's like your brain just goes, oh, okay, I get this now, without asking permission.
And don't be surprised if later you catch yourself thinking in English, like, wait, when did that happen? So yeah, stay with us. Don't disappear now. Okay, Jack, let's switch the vibe a bit now. Like we're looking at life from a different angle.
Yeah, not just peaceful moments, but even the normal daily struggles, right?
Yes, Jack. Today, I'm grateful that I managed to complete my day, even though I was really tired. And yeah, but honestly, there are days when I feel completely overwhelmed, like everything is just too much. Too many things to do and zero energy, you know? So what I do is I stop thinking about everything at once. I just choose one small task and I finish that first, right? And I literally tell myself, just start. Don't think too much. And somehow that makes everything feel easier.
Yes, Emma, starting is usually the hardest part. For me, I'm grateful for moments when I stay away from too much social media. But sometimes I catch myself scrolling too much, comparing my life, you know? So what I do is I step away for a while. I put my phone down and do something real, like walking or just sitting, and I remind myself not everything I see online is real life. And that really helps me reset my mind.
That's so important. Comparison really steals gratitude. Okay, next one hits different. Like those low motivation days. I'm also grateful for days when I still try, even if my motivation is super low, because sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything productive, like at all. So instead of forcing myself, I do something very small, like cleaning my space or just drinking water slowly, you know? And I literally tell myself, even small effort counts today, right? And honestly, that keeps me going more than motivation ever does.
That's actually discipline, but in a very gentle form. I'm grateful for learning how to handle self-doubt better. Because sometimes I question myself, like, am I doing enough, you know? So instead of getting stuck in that thought, I shift my focus. I write down one thing I did well, even if it's very small. And honestly, it changes everything. A simple method to stop focusing on problems and start feeling grateful.
All right, Jack. So now let's slow things down a little and look at one of the most important words we used in today's episode, because honestly, this topic was all about one thing: gratitude. So let's break it down properly. Gratitude. Gratitude means noticing and appreciating the good things in your life, even the small ones, even on normal or difficult days. For example, gratitude can be waking up healthy, finishing your day, or just having a quiet moment to breathe. Repeat after us. Gratitude. Gratitude.
Yeah, like something that pushes you forward, even on days you don't feel like doing anything.
Next word, motivation. Motivation means the energy or feeling that makes you want to take action and move toward your goals. Like when you suddenly feel ready to start something, even if you were tired before. Repeat. Motivation. Motivation.
Yeah, like when your mind starts questioning everything before you even try. The next phrase is learn and grow. To learn and grow means improving yourself over time by learning from mistakes, experiences, and new situations. Like when you make a mistake, but instead of stopping there, you understand it and become better next time. Repeat. Learn and grow. Learn and grow.
Next, a strong idea for managing yourself, self-control. Self-control means the ability to manage your emotions, actions, and decisions instead of reacting too quickly, especially when you feel angry, stressed, or excited. For example, he showed self-control and didn't reply immediately when he was upset. He waited until he calmed down. Or sometimes self-control is choosing not to do something impulsive, even when it feels difficult in the moment. Repeat. Self-control. Self-control.
All right, Jack. So that brings us to the end of today's word tour. And yeah, and honestly, when you look at everything we talked about today, it's not just a list of words. It's really the heart of this whole episode coming together. Dreams, fear, courage, pressure, and that slow, sometimes confusing process of trying to build a life that actually feels true to you, you know? And what's interesting is, even just learning or hearing these kinds of words, it starts to give you a different way to describe your own experiences, the things you go through, the things you feel but don't always say out loud. Because sometimes it's not that people don't understand their life, it's just that they don't have the right words for it yet.
Yeah, and maybe that's really the deeper value of conversations like this. They're not just giving us definitions or ideas to remember. They're actually helping us build language for emotions, for thoughts, for situations we've probably carried for a long time without fully explaining them. And yeah, and once you finally start recognizing those words, it's like things don't feel so heavy or confusing anymore. You don't instantly solve everything, but you start understanding yourself a little more clearly. And that alone changes a lot, you know?
This was Emma,
And Jack?
and you've been listening to our podcast space, where we slow things down, talk about real life, and try to understand ourselves a little better through simple conversations. Take care of yourself, really. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.